everyone and welcome to the channel. If you're new, my name is Becs. I'm a third year mature medical student studying in Bristol. If you're returning, then welcome back. So in today's video, I wanted to talk to you about all of the things that I needed to start doing in order to change my mindset and get into medical school when I was 37 years old. I grew up in France in children's homes for 4 years. At the age of 14, unfortunately, social services removed me from my home because of my mum's drinking, and I stayed in various flats, apartments, houses for a number of years. And then I spent many years working in jobs that I wasn't fulfilled in, but I didn't have the courage for many years, but also I didn't believe that changing my life and doing something like medicine was possible. I made the decision last year to set up this channel because I want to get the message out there that it doesn't matter where you come from or how many people tell you that you can't do something, and it doesn't have to be medicine. You can always make that decision to change your life, and you are worthy of it. So today I wanted to talk to you about the things that I had to start doing in order to change my life. You can apply these to, of course, medical school, but you can apply these to whatever your situation is in life. So welcome once again, and let's get straight into it. First thing that I had to do was start listening to my intuition and believing in myself. So I've talked about this on a previous video, and one of the things that you will notice is you make a decision to change your life and you seek guidance from people who have already done it, or maybe from teachers or from just people in your surroundings. You will get negative feedback. If we put our future in the hands of others, it's very unlikely that we will make decisions to change anything. So I've talked about this before, and many people thought that I was crazy for, leaving very well-paid jobs with pretty much no qualifications to try to get into medicine. Family members, or even people who were working in colleges. I had many people tell me that it was unrealistic and it was just not going to happen. That was the feedback that I was getting. So think about this. If I would have listened to that and said, you're probably right, I'll just go back to what I'm doing now, which I'm not happy with really, but I'm going to take your advice and just stay where I am, I wouldn't be studying medicine. I would still be in a job that I was unfulfilled in. But because I decided to listen to my own gut, my own intuition, my own heart, I'll be a doctor in 2 years. So what we have to do, and I know it's really difficult, I know it is because I had to do it, is listen to your heart, your intuition, not your logical mind, and not other people who will tell you that what you want to do can't be done. That is the first thing. And I know it's really difficult, especially if people in your family who you are really close to are telling you that they don't think that you can pull this off. But if you know, and you'll get these feelings, this deep intuitive feeling that you're meant to do something. And I receive emails from you all of the time telling me you have this vision and you feel like becoming a doctor or whatever it is you want to do, that this is your calling. Follow that, because I promise you, if your intuition is guiding you to do something, it's because that is the path that you're meant to take. The people that you're telling are not aware of what you're capable of, and they're not aware of what your calling is. That is something that is only within you. So listen to that. The second thing that I had to start doing was working harder than I'd ever done before. And I've always been a hard worker. I've worked as a personal trainer in Dubai, where I used to get up at 4:30, have clients, but this was another level. This was, okay, I'm going to put 100% into this. I'm going to get up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to drive to, Manchester, which was 3 hours one way, 3 hours back. I'm going to give up all of my, materialistic comfort things, and I'm just going to work as hard as I possibly can. And I remember during the Access to Medicine course, I was going to Manchester 2 days a week. I was working 3 jobs at the time. So I was working in a call center, I was working as a spin instructor and a personal trainer, and I was doing this Access to Medicine course. It was the hardest year I think I've had to date. It's not something I would have done before starting this journey to become a doctor, because I would have quit. I would have made excuses. So I had to really work as hard as I could to earn enough money to pay for my education, but also in terms of studying. I would be down the library every opportunity that I could get, or I would just sit in my room. And my old housemate at the time used to say to me, he used to get up to do his own clients and stuff, and he'd always say to me, like, I can't believe you're getting up at 4 a.m. to study. And I would just get up and get things done. Before starting this journey, and after being in care for many years, I did have a lot of well-paid jobs. I lived in Dubai, I worked for Emirates, I worked as a personal trainer, and there were many years where money just wasn't an issue. I bought a house and I had nice cars, and I was able to go to the hairdressers and, just do really nice things, go on holiday. And I had to start being more grateful for the little things that I had when I became a full-time student, because the difference now in my financial situation compared to before, it's like black and white. It's really night and day. Before, I would just say, right, I fancy going to the Maldives. I'm in Dubai. I'm booking it. Let's just go. Now that feels like a completely different life. And for many years, I wasn't willing to give that up because it was a really nice lifestyle. If I wanted to go and get hair extensions, I wouldn't even think about it. I'd just go and get it done. If I wanted to get a bit of Botox, from time to time, I wouldn't think about it. I'd just go and get it done. Now, and it's completely different in the sense that everything is a struggle, like there are some weeks even where I think I need to make the food that I have last for an extra few days because money is so tight. I had my first holiday last year and I hadn't been away for 5 years, If I want to go to the hairdressers maybe twice a year, I have to save for it. And now I can honestly say that this whole experience has taught me to be so much more grateful for the little things. Before, I had a really nice 4x4 in Dubai. I'd get in it. I wouldn't even think about, safety or repairs or whatever. It was just like a car. Whereas now I have a very, very old Volkswagen Polo that I bought for about £700 that is always breaking down. Every time I go in, the lights come on, like the warning lights for the oil and the if I can go from here to Bath without breaking down, I am just over the moon. The fact that I have a little car downstairs is something that I'm so grateful for because it allows me to go to the gym, it allows me to go to work, it allows me to go to placement. A few years ago, I wouldn't even have taken the time to be grateful because I would have taken it for granted. Whereas now, even because I pay, I know it sounds really silly, doesn't it? That like the little things, but honestly, if I turn on the TV and I switch on Netflix, in that split second, I think, how lucky am I to have this Netflix subscription because it allows me to now just relax and watch a film this evening. A few years ago, before starting this journey, I would have taken that for granted. The whole experience has taught me to be grateful for the little things. If I want something, I have to go and save for it. And when I do buy that thing or treat myself to a little break somewhere, or if I buy a book or whatever it is, I'm so much more grateful and appreciative of that thing because I have to work so much harder for it. When I am working all of these hours now and I'm studying, and when things get really tough, I know that when I qualify financially, things are going to be a lot easier. The work is still going to be hard, but I just focus on that day where I graduate, you know, and I get that certificate, and I look back on all of these times where putting petrol in the car was a struggle, buying food was a struggle, you know, just buying the things that I need is a struggle, but I pulled it off. And the day that I graduate, I can look back and say, for 7 years, you know, 5-year degree, access to medicine, 1-year GCSEs, for 7 years, I pulled it off. And I think it will make that day, that graduation day, so much more rewarding and fulfilling because it's been such a battle to get there. Fourth thing that I had to do, and this was really, really, really difficult, was I had to start cutting people out of my life that were holding me back or that were toxic. And I say this from a place of love and non-judgment as always, but you have to surround yourself with people who have the same values, the same mindset, and if possible, the same goals, because what I found was, before starting this journey, is for me, what was important was how many friends or followers I had on Facebook or Instagram, and the people that I was surrounding myself with, it was more about quantity rather than quality. I always wanted lots of people to hang around with. I always wanted to, you know, have lots of fun on layovers, and sometimes the people that I was surrounding myself with were not the most healthy and were doing things that were not in line with who I wanted to become. And a few years ago, I had a really good look at, okay, who is in my circle? And I have to say now, my circle is really, really, really small, but so much more fulfilling. And I did lose a lot of people who I'd spent years building relationships with, but I knew that in my heart they were not supporting me and they were not in sync with the person that I wanted to become, and they were holding me back, or they were filling me with negativity, or they were telling me that, you know, what I was doing was probably not the right decision. And I just thought, this mentality is not what I want to surround myself with. I want to be around people who believe in me, who love me unconditionally, who are non-judgmental, and who are loving and kind, and who don't laugh at me for believing in, you know, my spiritual stuff. It's really, really hard, but I had to learn boundaries, and I had to be quite harsh with regards to, okay, these people don't fit into the person I'm becoming or the life that I want to create. Therefore, I have to distance myself. And again, I know it's not easy, especially if, like myself, these people had been in my life for many years, but now I can honestly say that it was a really good decision. And what happens is it creates space for people who are healthier and more in line with our values to come in and hold that space for us. I had to start believing that I was worthy of living a life of purpose and doing something that for many years I didn't think was possible for me. So again, I talked about this in a previous video, and you know, when I talk to people at the hospital, when other doctors say to me, so what's your background? And I say, actually, you know, I'm a care leaver and I had to do GCSEs and all of this to get into medicine. Because the question that I get asked a lot is, oh, your parents must be quite rich, they must be paying for your education, or you know, your husband must have a good job. And I'm thinking, you have absolutely no idea. And as soon as I tell them, no, actually, this is my past, they're like, oh, that's quite unusual that, you know, you got into medicine, hats off to you, well done. Where I come from and how I grew up And through no fault of my own, leaving school with no qualifications, most people don't then follow their dreams or think that it's possible. And again, it doesn't matter if it's medicine or not, but most people will say, I can't do that because of my past. I can't do that because of my financial situation. And I always used to look up to doctors when I was a teenager. And I always used to go to doctors and nurses because I felt that they were the only people that would be able to get me out of the home where I was living, because I knew that it wasn't healthy and it wasn't safe. And I always used to look up to them as if they were from a different planet, like, oh my God, I was in awe of healthcare professionals because it was like it was them and it was me, like they were completely on a different level, on a different, they're in a different league to me. I'm small, they're amazing. And it was like the leap from where I was to being a doctor or doing something like that was it didn't even cross my mind that I could do something like that. And then as I got older and as I started to go through many life experiences and my confidence grew and my self-esteem grew, I started to think, hang on a second, they're just people. Doctors are just human beings like me. So what's the difference? Just because they've had an easier start to life, maybe, not in all cases, but maybe just because they have been told by their parents and other people in their family and maybe by their teachers that they can do medicine. I had people telling me that I couldn't go to university and that I was stupid and I had no money and I grew up in care. Just because our starting points were different, does it mean to say that the destination, that end goal, can't be the same? It just means that to get there, we have to do different things, don't we? In terms of mindset and in terms of just the steps that we have to take to get there. And I started to think, well, there's no difference really, is there? As long as our kind of core values are the same and we genuinely want to care for people who are sick and vulnerable and we have that desire and we feel that that is our calling, who cares what the starting point is? And it doesn't matter what obstacles we've had, we can still get to the same destination. And I just started to think, why am I letting my past hold me back? And why am I letting my mindset hold me back? And why am I letting all these negative thoughts hold me back? If they can do it, I can do it. If they can look after patients, I can do it. If they can get into medical school, I can do it. I'm no different. It's not my fault that I grew up in care. It's not my fault that I was born into this family that has lots of trauma. It's not my fault, and I started to think, I am just as worthy. I'm just as worthy as, I'm just as worthy of getting an education. I'm just as capable of putting the hard miles in to get a degree. So why can't I do it? I deserve this opportunity as well. And if you're watching and if you're in the same boat and if you've had a really challenging start to life, know that you are worthy of changing your life and doing something that you're really passionate about. And sometimes I feel like it's almost a case of them and us. And what I mean by that is the people who have had so much given to them on a silver platter. And I'm saying this from a place of non-judgment, but yes, it's a no-brainer that they get to go to university. It's a no-brainer that they get accommodation paid for. It's a no-brainer that they get everything given to them. And then people like us who, through no fault of our own, have been dealt some really shitty cards in life. And then on top of that, other people tell us that we can't change our lives and that we can't go to university and that we can't get into jobs that are for these other people. It's bullshit. I'm sorry to swear on here, but no, everybody has the same opportunities. Everybody should have the same opportunities, and everybody should know within their heart that they are worthy of living the same kind of life and lifestyle regardless of your past. It doesn't matter. The starting point is different, remember that, but the end destination can be the same. The way that you're going to get there, the rituals that you're going to have to follow, and the habits and the sacrifices that you're going to have to make are going to be different, aren't they? But you can still get to that same end goal, and never put yourself down for where you come from or what you've been through. It doesn't matter. You're still worthy, and I can't say that enough. You're still worthy of living a life that you're passionate about, and never settle because you don't think that you can achieve something. Give it a go. I didn't think I'd be here right now, finishing 3rd year at medical school, 2 years away from being a doctor. So many people told me that I couldn't. Every single person that I told me that I couldn't do it, but I'm here, and I will be successful. Hope that you enjoy these videos and they are useful. Have a great day, everybody. Comment down below. Let me know where you're studying, if you're planning to start medicine, and I will see you soon.